everybody. I'm your host, Jaime Soretta. Thanks for joining us for Jaime's Local Love, the podcast. Live better, longer. That is the goal behind the Blue Zones Project. And you may be seeing some signage and some announcements about Blue Zones moving into Scottsdale. I want to introduce Danielle Anderson and Maureen Aldrich with the Blue Zones Project Scottsdale. I saw the office on Scottsdale Road and thought, Blue Zones, is this the thing that my mom is talking about? Because she's obsessed with living well, living healthily. And this is kind of life hacks that people in different countries utilize to live longer, healthier. Maureen, break down to what Blue Zones is.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Blue Zones Project Scottsdale is a community-led well-being initiative. And it's really based exactly on what you're talking about, the longest lived people in the world, which were the original Blue Zones people, right? And we studied those people. Dan Buettner and National Geographic studied those areas for decades to identify what's the secret sauce? What is it here? Is there a fountain of youth? Why are they living into their 90s and 100s happy and healthily? Is that a word? Healthily?
Yes, I think so.
So anyway, they identified really 9 common lifestyle principles that they called the Power 9. We dubbed them as the Power 9. And it's about what they're doing regardless of where those places are. And they fall into, a connection piece, which is very significant, about surrounding yourself with positive people. They call it the positive pack. Another one is family, keeping family close. So often there's multi-generational living. And then also having some sort of belief in faith of some kind, whatever that is to them. So that was connection. There's also having the right outlook, which is about having purpose. So a couple of those areas actually have language around purpose and know why they get up in the morning. And purpose often helps you, not be rudderless and have a reason to live in the morning, right? And throughout your day. And then also downshifting falls into the right outlook and knowing, they always had ways to garden or just walk around and meet people or just, texting a friend here locally if that's something we need to do. Eating wisely was also something that they noticed. Whole food, plant-based diet primarily. They did eat meat, but it was more like in a celebratory, ceremonial, every 3 weeks or 4 weeks, not every day like we may. But it's just about adding quality things to your life, adding more nuts, adding more protein and beans in their diet.
Yeah. And this came from how many different communities around the world?
There's 5 communities around the world. Do you know any of them?
Well, I cracked open the book. Pop quiz. Because I thought, Loma Linda is in California.
Yes.
Of course, Italy. I'm like, if I get to Italy on a beach town, I want to live forever.
I know. You got
Sardinia?
it. Yeah, Sardinia, Italy. You got it. Loma Linda, California is the only one here in the United States because of the Seventh-day Adventist population there. There's one in Costa Rica, there's one in Greece, there's in Okinawa, Japan. So those are the 5 originals. Singapore has recently been added, similarly to what we're doing here in Scottsdale. We are a project hoping to, if you want to say, re-engineer our community to change the environments and where we spend 90% of our time.
Well, you think of Scottsdale being the perfect place because so many retirees move there who want to live longer lives. Many of them, I think, are already interested. That's why the hiking and getting out and playing pickleball and doing all of the healthy living things. I want to walk through the 9 steps real quick because I heard you talking about them, but it was move naturally, purpose, downshift, 80% rule. Is that healthy eating?
Yeah. Yep.
The plant slant, wine at 5. Now I'm interested. What does wine at 5 mean?
Wine at 5 is something that they actually did. They would often have a glass of wine with friends. So it wasn't just the health benefits of potentially drinking wine, especially in those regions, right, where there's antioxidants and things the way that they produce their wine. But it's that connection piece that's so significant. So here we say that, but we're not encouraging people to start a wine drinking habit.
Yes.
We also call it Friends at 5, especially when we're working with schools and others, faith-based or anyone. It's just that connection piece.
Well, there's something special about clinking glasses together, and it doesn't matter what's in that glass. And I love the way things are changing as far as making the beautiful mocktails, or just I love those spindrift, just like the the bubbly water with a lime or lemon. Delicious too. So anyhow, 7 is belong, 8 is loved ones first, and 9 is the right tribe, finding the right friends around you. So Danielle, tell me about what we're going to see around us in Scottsdale because we're moving into the community.
That's right. And so Basically, organizations can participate with a project. It's completely an option. There is no fee associated. We walk them through the process. We call it approval. They are looking to seek approval. And we have organizations that fall into 4 different what we call sectors. So we have our work sites, we have grocery stores or markets, restaurants, and then we have our schools. And within each of those areas, there are best practices that these organizations can implement. Some of them they may already be doing, and or they can add on things that they want to try out. And really, it's about showcasing and making the employees' health and wellness be the true focus of a organization. That's really the goal.
And your background is?
So I'm a registered dietitian. I was a teacher for about 12 years before changing careers, but I was working in the food systems kind of area of Maricopa County. And there was definitely, when this project came around, there was a pull to be a part of it because it's really the whole picture. Of course, I gravitate towards anything dealing with food, but when you look at what all those pieces that Maureen was just talking about, it really is pulling all these different tenets together and why that's important to us.
As we look at the list of schools that are Blue Zone Project approved,
correct.
And I grew up here in the Valley.
Oh, yeah.
So Kokopah. I went to Kokopah. My sister went to Sequoia. You have Echo Canyon on here, Anasazi, Pima, Greyhawk, and Hopi as well. So these are all approved. What happened? What went into the program to approve those schools?
Yeah. So with any of our organizations, basically there is an approval process where they are showcasing all of the things they are doing. What's really nice is, we have this list of best practices, but they are picking and choosing the things that make sense for their environment, right? And so all of these schools may have picked different things to look at, but basically they provide examples that we then validate to show that they are actually doing these things, and really so that we can then highlight what they're doing and share that out, because that's really the big piece of this is really, exemplifying that.
Yeah, so I see registered schools and schools working toward. What does that mean?
Yeah, so a lot of that is just kind of internal communication.
Yeah, okay. but I've got some notes here. I've got the good stuff in here.
The idea, obviously, is to get to approval. But what happens is when they are interested, they register with us. And that registration is just kind of a self-commitment that they're going to go through the process. And so you can see there's other schools that are registered. And then we have our schools that are working towards approval. And that means they just right now, they're in that process of showing us the things that they're doing. Yeah. And then, hopefully soon they'll be validated and approved as well.
And there are even walk-to-school programs that are part of this?
So we have 7 schools currently that either initiated or already were doing walk-to-school programming or bike-to-school programming. And it's really nice to see. You can see they have some fun names that they've attached to them. Yeah. And these are things that can be done kind of depending on the time that they want to provide. So it could be monthly, it could be quarterly, it could be an annual event. But it really is that idea of one, encouraging movement first thing in the morning, but it's also that community piece that Maureen was talking about, and that socializing that, is sometimes it might be missed when everybody's getting dropped off individually or they're taking the bus or whatever. This just provides an opportunity for the whole school to be able to participate.
Yeah. I think of walking home with my friend from school or from the school bus. Yep. It's something that I realize now in this moment how much I love walking with my girlfriend, and just the walk and talk we call it.
Yeah.
It's therapeutic.
The friendships built during that time, absolutely.
You're moving, you're getting your exercise without I've got to go to this class and put all this stuff. You're already in your outfit, you're walking, you're moving naturally, as Blue Zone says. Let's talk about some of the grocery stores and restaurants too.
Yeah. So right now we actually just had our first approved market. This is, I would say, a sector, if we're being completely transparent, this is a sector that's been a little bit of a struggle for us. The market that we do have, Taza Mediterranean Market, incredible. They're doing all kinds of things about, showcasing what they have in terms of veggies that are canned and preserved. There's access to nuts and seeds and all these good for us snacks that are really, sometimes a little bit more hidden in some of our other markets. But so that is our first store. One thing that is difficult in our specific project area is that we have a lot of markets that are nationally owned. Yeah. And so when you
they
look
have to sell everything.
They do,
right?
and doing a good job, and a lot of times actually doing a lot of the things that we're looking for, really? But it's a matter of them, why do they want to participate, right? And so For some, we've reached where they just it's hard for them to want to pilot in just our area, right? When they have a whole national program going on. So anyway,
we get it.
Yeah.
Maybe there'll be a Blue Zones area someday,
yes,
right? You never know,
exactly.
that shelves and stuff. And you think a Mediterranean diet has always been so promoted as quite healthy as well.
And if you haven't been to Taza, it is incredible. You should really
Where
go
is
out.
it?
It's right off of
Franklin, right in Via Linda, on Kala Shopping Center.
Ooh, yum. Okay, we'll have to stop by them.
Yeah, and
Get
then
some
in
snackies.
regard to restaurants,
yeah.
so right now we actually have 28 restaurants that are currently either approved, going through approval, or registered right now. And so that's been a real success with the restaurant area.
Well, I saw our friends over the Scottsdale Princess, the Fairmont Scottsdale Princess. They just got approved.
Yes, so they have their Ironwood Kitchen as one of their restaurants, and then also as a work site, they have been recently approved. So that was a very large organization that realistically, if you know anything about the Fairmont, you know that they are already really invested in taking care of their employees. And that was something they were easily able to showcase going through the validation process.
Maureen, you and I were in touch when I saw a press release about Arcadia Farms. Were they the first restaurant?
Yes,
Yes,
they
they
were, as well as their marketplace.
Okay, so Arcadia Farms, if you don't know Arcadia Farms, being a girl who grew up here in the Valley, this is a place where you have the bridal showers. This is where you have the baby showers. This is where big groups of women gather for chicken salad sandwich and a piece of key lime pie. I mean, it's part of like the milestone moments. I'm sure people go to lunch there on a random day too, but I've always been there for special occasions. So it feels like a very special place to me. And so when I saw that, I thought that was so interesting. So what did they have to do? What kind of things can you have on the menu, et cetera? I mean, I mentioned the salads, I guess.
Right. Maybe Danielle can speak to the specifics about that a little bit better than I can.
Yeah, so just like with schools, just like with work sites, they have their own best practices to implement. With restaurants, what's really lovely is that their menus are these visual reflections of what they're doing, right? So they can incorporate Blue Zones inspired options. Those Blue Zones inspired options, they do kind of lean into that Power 9 where you have the plant slant as being the focus. So those options, it could be incorporating more whole grains, it could be incorporating veggies, it could be using olive oil. There's a variety of different things that they can do to create that Blue Zones inspired option. And Arcadia Farms, they had such great options already. And what they did that is really nice, if you ever look at their menu or you visit in, they've kind of created this like make your Blue Zones inspired option by doing these different pieces, and it talks it through right there on the menu. And so, with our 17 currently approved restaurants, they've all made these little tweaks for people to come in and easily recognize that Blue Zones inspired options are available.
Are there some other restaurants that?
Oh, yeah. So actually right down the road, we saw Delight. So Delight is one of ours that actually was the first multi-location space. So there's 6 in total, 3 of which are actually in our project space and 3 that are obviously around the perimeter. But they have a Blue Zone meal option that you can order. And it's like a little package deal. Delicious. We all have, there's different favorites, but I know the humanitarian is a real favorite that you can adjust and make Blue Zones inspired. Trying to think now, Zuzu from Hotel Valley Ho is also one of our earlier.
Chef Russell, hi.
Right?
We do Thanksgiving with Chef Russell every year. It's become a family tradition because I like to work on Thanksgiving. And so I meet my family over there, and it's just, they have a great Thanksgiving. Just a shout out to Zuzu.
Well, and he and Ronan have that YouTube channel that they do, that they put out some meal, that they're making meals together. I think they started it during COVID, and they've just kind of continued. It's really lovely.
Yeah, it's fun to meet all the people around town.
Absolutely.
I always feel like it's, people talk about local love, and I think it's like Mr. Rogers, where he's like, meet the neighbors. Like, here's the mailman, here's the guy down the fireman. It's fun to just meet your neighbors in your community, and community is a big aspect of this. You are creating ways for us to meet our neighbors, Maureen. Tell me about some of the projects. We're dropping this pod late August. You're going to be having some projects August into September. What's going on?
Yeah. I mean, it's really tied into that Power 9 we were talking about, and how can we make that possibly here? So one thing we do is a purpose workshop. There's one coming up in September at the Blessed Sacrament Church, I believe, on September 20th. Purpose is important in the original Blue Zones, and it helps us, guide ourselves through life. So it's a 2-hour workshop. Anybody can go. It's absolutely free. And at the end of it, you'll hopefully identify with your gifts and your passions and your values, and have a little bit more of a purpose statement in your life that you could revisit every day. And then we tie that into volunteer opportunities. So there's all kinds of volunteer opportunities on our website. And we're about to launch this week a volunteer zone. So it's an independent site where anybody who has opportunities for needing volunteers or for volunteers to seek volunteer opportunities, they can go to this volunteer zone and get connected that way. So we're really excited about that. We do have a monthly volunteer opportunity at the Scottsdale Food Bank, where people go and they pack up food and they save the staff 3 weeks of time.
Oh my gosh.
Just because we have 20, 25 people go.
Wow.
And packing for hundreds of families, it's just really one of those things that fills your own cup. So that's really wonderful. We also have a Moai. A Moai is a group of people that get together.
Spell that for the people going, Moai. What did she say?
Moai.
Moai.
It's a term from Okinawa, Japan. They were put together as little ones, and they stayed together for decades. If you see our Netflix documentary called Live to 100, you'll see a Moai in person on the show. But what we do is we create that. We have one currently at Scottsdale Fashion Square every Fridays at 8:30 in the morning, run by volunteers walking. So it's either time movement or connection. It's about over a 10-week period. There'll be someone in that group that then you could lean on to call or have a friend that you may not have had before. And that one's going on now for a year and a half. And they have since created other opportunities socially, and they never knew each other. So to see that continuing is just beautiful. And to hear the transformational stories. Forever Fit is a new program that actually isn't, we're just supporting it. It's Scottsdale Community College interns that are helping seniors with a fitness program. We have 2 graduates from a previous class who are now adding the Power 9 component onto the end of every class that they're going to meet for 10 weeks and talk about the benefits to them. So that's another form of a Moai that people can sign up and do. We also have cooking demonstrations. So we know cooking skills are something that, might be lacking across all of us.
Why are you looking at
me? But kids even, right? People are so busy, and also just how to eat healthy, how to incorporate healthier foods. So we do have a local nutritionist that we will be working with to do cooking demonstrations. So if anybody's interested in that, they can reach out to us. And I think that kind of rounds it up. But the other thing we're doing in July, August, and September is something called the Summer Movement Living, and it's about trying to stay moving in the summer. So we've partnered with local studios, whether it's yoga, meditation, or whatever. You'll find them on our website. You can sign up for a free class at one of these studios and learn something new that you might not be doing and still move.
Yeah. This is a 5-year project. We're 2.5 years in.
About that, yeah.
You guys took jobs that you knew would be eliminated. Why were you so passionate about this that you wanted to dedicate 5 years not knowing what would be professionally next for you?
Yeah, it's a really good question. And honestly, it was more about the impact that you can see that we can make within the community. I was working for a small community prior to this, and I could see slight impact. But when I saw that this could touch so many people, not just in Scottsdale, because there's overlap. You could work in Scottsdale and take it home but not live here. And so it really expands beyond the boundaries of even Scottsdale, or students that go to school in Scottsdale might not live there because of the open enrollment. So just to see the impact, and now to see it after 2 years, and to see people transforming their lives and living to we tell people we'll see you at 100. So even though our team is breaking up in a couple of years, no, it's really wonderful impact.
What is it, Moai?
Moai.
You're your Moai now. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. What about you, Danielle?
Yeah, I think similar to Maureen. I when I look at schools, when I look at work sites, right, we have very little control typically on what those environments and culture look like, right? And we've all had jobs, or we've known someone who's had a job that might not have been great. And we're in a place that we can help employees have better access to health and longevity, and I want to be a part of that. And same thing with schools. There's so much research that talks about how development of behaviors begins in childhood. And so if you can have these great behaviors taught to you, or learning about downshifting, learning about what types of foods, help your body be healthy, that's great to have that so early on, so that you just develop those skills on and on and on. It's much harder for adults to change those behaviors, right? It's not impossible, but it takes a lot more time. And so having this place, I kind of feel like I have this insider's perspective into work sites now. I get to see all the cool things that they're offering their employees. I get to be part of a workplace that really does value work-life balance. Yeah. That is, it's talking about having Moais. It's talking about having eating, opportunity. We have a garden in front of our office. It's like those kind of things that isn't everywhere. Yeah. And I think we know that that's special. And I think that we want other people to have that same opportunity.
I'm going to ask for a garden here at AZ Family.
Please.
We have a garden, but I don't think we have anything growing right now in there. But Dave, the garden guy, he used to take me out there in the garden on GMAS weekends, and I'd always ask for a snack. And he'd pluck something off a tree or a basil leaf or something. Find me a snack out there. So, all right, I'm going to make a request. Hello, managers. I wanted to ask about this. We said it's a 5-year project. Who is it sponsored by? How is it funded, et cetera?
Thank you for asking. Yes. Yeah. The Honor Health, the Cigna Group and Goodwill of Central and Northern Arizona have actually sponsored the entire project for this 4-year, 9-month period. What's wonderful about that is that it allows us to offer completely free programming. Everything that Danielle and her team do with work sites and schools and restaurants, it's completely free. All the workshops, the Moais, everything we talked about, again, it's free because we want to provide a healthier lifestyle for everyone, enable that to everyone everywhere, and we couldn't charge for that. So even a pickleball Moai that we did over at Scottsdale Community College, that could have been a problem because you might not have a paddle, but we found somebody that was able to donate paddles. So we did that for 10 weeks straight and allowed people to try an opportunity they wouldn't normally have. So, yeah.
So when you think about trying an opportunity you wouldn't normally have, what are you doing now that you've digested this information, you're living it? Is there something that you must do every day? Are you doing all 9? Is there something that you changed in your personal lives? I'll just throw it out so you guys can, whoever comes up with the answer first.
That's a really good question. One thing I'm really focusing more on that I am not great at is more plant slant in my diet. I enjoy eating meat occasionally, but trying to incorporate more vegetables on a regular basis. We all know what the nutrient level is. What are you supposed to do? 3 or 5 or whatever that is a day? She's kicking me under the table. Get that right.
Take what you get.
It's hard work next to a nutritionist, isn't it? It's like, are you judging my lunch?
Right. I'm like, I'm not a fan of beans, but I got all these tips now. I'm like, excellent. So that's what I'm trying to incorporate right now.
Yeah,
Great
more veg.
question.
Yeah, and I think I think the team has probably gotten so used to my saying downshifting. I think it's very important.
Yes.
And I think that when we're little, we may not have learned how to deal with stress in a way that's conducive to functioning, right? And I think that work-life balance and taking that time for yourself is so incredibly important to then be able to deliver whatever it is in your profession or in your space that you spend time in day to day. And I think so for me, having that downshift time, whether it's hiking or reading or cooking or any of those things that I like to do. Sometimes hiking is a little hard right now this time of year, but otherwise it's just finding that time that lets me separate is very important so that I can do stuff like this and not get overwhelmed.
You're doing great. Well, you think of I look at a screen all day long.
Yeah.
I say my phone is my best friend. I mean, this is where my family reaches out to me. This is where my friends reach out to me. This is where my sister sends me memes. Like, this is our communicator. But that time where you're not looking at the screen, it's like 40 minutes on a small walk, just looking at life around you. You're like, God, that felt like 3 hours in a beautiful way where you just kind of reset in a wonderful way. So it's important to just find something that, like the gardening, I guess, is people think is meditative. You're doing something. You can see the result of your work.
Right.
You guys gifted me a book, The Blue Zones Challenge. I opened it.
Okay, good. That was a challenge, and you overcame it. Great.
In it, you guys, let's see. It's the Blue Zone Challenge book. Let's find this page that I marked. Oh, Loma Linda, because I want to stay local, as I do. So it has longevity foods out of each of the, was it 5 or 7?
5.
5. So at a Loma Linda, these are top longevity foods. And I love how this book is making things very simple for us. Avocados, yum. Nuts, beans. Get your beans, Maureen.
I will.
Water. Hi, Mom. Mom's always like, get your water. Oatmeal, whole wheat bread. So we're allowed to eat whole wheat bread. I always feel like bread's controversial.
Whole grains, almost anything is going to be good. So you can keep that in mind.
Nutritionist said so. Soy milk. And then, oh gosh, please don't make me say that. What is that word for vegetables? That's the C.
The legumes? Oh, cruciferous?
Yes, does that mean extra crunchy? Extra crunchy?
Yes, that's exactly what that means.
Oh, good. I don't know why they just didn't say that. Broccoli, cauliflower, spinach, and apples. So what a great, easy guideline to just look at that and think, okay, I can incorporate this into my meals. I can make a couple changes. I can make a few edits out of what I'm doing. And then I would be remiss if I didn't ask about the wine because there is a certain wine. We're not just haphazardly drinking wine in the Blue Zones book. What kind of wine was this?
Right. Well, in the different regions, several of them did drink wine. The one in particular that you could probably get your hands on is it's a I guess it's a varietal called Cananao. And it's from Sardinia region, and the reason for that is it has more antioxidants in it. Whether it's the grape itself or how they process it, I really don't know, but I do know that that was particularly one that is highly regarded. And also, it's not just wine at 5, it's about drinking with a friend or just connecting with a friend, whether you choose,
Coming
like we were
together.
talking, a mocktail versus a glass of wine, either way. We call it happy hour for a reason.
Yeah.
So I think that's really significant. It's just that connection piece, but
Yeah, I always call my lunches, and I guess they're dinners, happy hour with my girlfriends.
Oh,
You don't go to happy hour. But
right.
am I drinking? No. I drove myself.
Right.
I'm going to drive home. I'm not drinking. But it's still a happy hour. No doubt about it. I always like to ask my guests, what are they loving in Arizona right now? And then we'll apply this under the Blue Zones lens. What are you loving to do in Arizona? Is there a place that you're loving to eat that's Blue Zones? Is there a thing that you're loving to do that's in the Blue Zones?
I love pickleball. And so last night I played pickleball, even though it was 110 outside last night. But it's people on my team, and they're like, enough with the pickleball. But it is an amazing sport for connection because you play with the people that you come with, but there's also a whole bunch of people waiting. So when you're waiting, you're sitting there talking and you're learning about people. It's hot right now, but it's a wonderful thing to do. I love it.
People are obsessed.
They are, sorry.
I mean, they are obsessed
they
with pickle. And you're one of them. Does your license plate say pickleball?
No, I won't go there.
Plate frame.
Yeah, what about you?
Yeah, I think hiking, I mean, obviously this isn't the best time of year right now, but the rest of the year it is ideal. And there are so many places around here to go. I'm originally from the Northwest, and it's such a vastly different hiking experience, but beautiful, and I love it.
Yeah.
I will just mention too, Arcadia Marketplace has become my favorite spot for salads for lunch. They have a great selection, and they also have a very reasonably priced latte that it compares to like every other spot around, as a side note.
I love it. That's a pro tip right there.
Secret I didn't know about.
You get your latte there and then you start for lunch, right? Yeah, that's an easy day.
Exactly.
That's perfect. And so we want to let people know where they can find all this information because obviously you have a ton of information. I imagine all those restaurants are listed on the website too.
Yep. Everything's on the web. Actually, I'll let Maureen speak to the website, but everything is on the website for you.
Yeah, it's Blue Zones Project Scottsdale.com. And there's different pages on there. The events page tells you all about those volunteer opportunities and upcoming events. You just need to go on and register there. Then there's a page called Approved Places where you'll see the whole list of restaurants, grocery stores, all of that stuff that have been approved. Much more on there for information, but those are the two main sites that you want to check out.
Yeah.
And that's also how people could get involved with the. So if you are an organization that is interested in seeking approval in that same exact space, you can click the Get Involved link, and that's how your organization can start participating with us.
Yeah, because I was thinking for the business owner,
Absolutely.
they would get
Yep.
involved is
Yep.
where you go.
Yep.
And you could sign up for a newsletter if you're interested in getting more information. You would receive our monthly newsletter from the project as well as the Blue Zones National newsletter. So it'll tell you more about recipes and things like that. We also have social media, of course, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and YouTube. You can find some videos on there that we've done too. That would be interesting.
Well, it's such an interesting concept. And I was very excited when I saw that it was here in Scottsdale. So you can watch the documentary on Netflix to learn more. Of course, that website's going to be just a myriad of information, how you can connect right here locally and start making some adjustments in your lives to live what? Live better, longer. Amen.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for
you so
being
much for
here.
having us.
Appreciate you.
Jamie, this was fun. Thank
Yeah, it was
you.
fun. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Jamie's Local Love, the podcast. I'm your host, Jamie Soretta. Our technician is Tom Heidinger. Our editors are Lorraine Shearing and Gina Coy. Do you know a business worthy of some local love? Email me at jsoretta@azfamily.com. Follow us at facebook.com/Soretta and Instagram @Soretta News. Make sure to subscribe and give us a 5-star review, please. And tell your friends about the podcast and the businesses we feature to show your local love. You can find us on Apple, YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, and anywhere you get your podcasts.
Jamie's Local Love, an Arizona's Family Originals podcast.